to be doing some talking. What kind of talking? I'm not really sure, but this is why they call it rambling. So I'm just gonna start off and say that I didn't know that you can take off the mic, because when I got the mic, it came in the stand already, right here. I wasn't aware that you can take off the mic stand and just use it with your hand. Now, I'm assuming that you're not supposed to be able to do that, as in, that's not really recommended, but I wanted to try something different today, and this sounded like a really fun idea, so why not? There was also an update to the software that I use for this Blue Yeti. It's using a Logitech software that changed up a lot of the settings that I put on the mic, so if it sounds different, let me know. I'll try to fix that as soon as possible, or even revert the changes if possible, but during about the 20 minutes of editing and fiddling around with the settings, this is as close as I can get to how it normally sounds, so hopefully not much has changed for the better or for the worse. It honestly sounds the same to me, but you can let me know how YouTube progression deals with that. So, right now, it's just gonna be me rambling with occasional items that I think will be kind of fun to kind of just fiddle around with my hand, such as a bottle and this little cloth, and even just lightly scratching the phone mic that I was doing earlier. It also seems that Audacity, the program that I use to record the audio, is a bit louder than normal too, so hopefully the talking is a bit louder than normal, but we'll see how it goes. Normally I put about a few test runs prior to recording, but I'm going to be on a week trip coming up soon, so I'm doing a few video recordings in advance and then pre-scheduling them. This is the first video that I'm recording in advance, so hopefully that goes well. By the time this one gets uploaded, I'll have some good idea of what the settings and stuff are like. But yeah, today was a very uneventful day, but so was this entire week, really, for me. Normally when people go rambling around their days, they have something exciting here and there, but for me it's just been doing homework, doing a bit of streaming, and really just doing what I can in the summertime. So I have a planned trip coming up on the 9th of August or the 16th, but it might extend over to the 18th. I'm going to be in New York with some friends, and it's going to be a fun time. We're going to be going out to, what is it, Six Flags on the 11th or the 12th that day. And then we're going to be doing some more stuff in the city and hopefully doing a barbecue. I'm the only one who really knows how to cook. I have a few others that know how to not burn down the kitchen, but I'm really the only one that understands how, at least knows how to do basic cooking with raw meat. So we're going to be doing a few barbecue barbecues. That's gonna be pretty fun. And then we also got some other stuff in line in case there's some bad weather, because there is a possibility of rain that might come up. So if that happens, we might have to cancel going to Six Flags, but we always have a plan B. There's also some movies coming out, but I'm not really a fan of watching movies personally, but if everyone else wants to, I wouldn't mind it. One movie in particular that stood out was called Old, and I've been seeing a lot of ads for it, but it seems like it's a mediocre video or movie. Last time I saw a movie was, I want to say around when The Incredibles 2, when I watched it with my mom, and that was, I'm not even sure how long that was. I think it was about 5 years ago. And the movie prior to that was Despicable Me 2 when I was still in elementary school. So I really don't watch movies often. But anyways, today in particular it wasn't very, I should say, a heavy load day, but I was doing some homework, calculus. I should pull up the book at some point. And I was doing some problems. And then I was thinking about playing a stream on Friday, but given how things have been right now, I'm not sure if it'd be a good idea, but that's something that I want to do at some point again. Because I missed Wednesday because my throat was actually not feeling very good. I'd say I had like a sore throat on there, but I'm not sure how I got the sore throat. No one else has been out of the house for the past 4 days. And any of us didn't get it. I was the only one who had the sore throat. So I guess it's been, maybe I shouldn't be opening up the window when I go to bed, because when I stop doing that, close the door, I wasn't having a sore throat anymore. I'm not sure how that works, but that's what I did and it solved it. So I guess I'm going to be pulling out the fan, and when it gets really hot, I'll just be using that instead of opening up the window. So it seems like the mic is not really picking this up, but I like fiddling with it, so we'll be doing that. There's been a lot of personal things coming the way, some more severe than others, but as it's been right now, I think it's been, I'd say, a lot that's been happening. Not enough for me to really be extremely stressed out about it, but there were some things too, such as what I need to do tomorrow, because there was some food downstairs that needs to be cooked. There were some pork chops that are about to go bad, and I was going to have them barbecued tomorrow. I really enjoy barbecuing. Last time I did a rambling video, I was talking about making chicken, and now we're talking about pork chops. What's gonna come up next is probably steak at this point, and just doing an ASMR grilling video, which I should probably do that. I'm not sure how that'd sound realistically, but if I can get that set up, that'd be a good idea. Even same with the laptop. That's over there. I managed to install an SSD into it. Usually, when I get a laptop back then, I would always get it with a hard drive. And this was about 7 years ago, keep that in mind. I was very new to computers and laptops. That hard drives are much slower than a solid state drive, an SSD. And saying that, oh, hard drives are much cheaper than solid state drives. How much of a difference can it make? It makes a huge difference. It's not even funny. The hard drive that I have, actually, I'm going to pull it out right now. This hard drive right here, it's about a terabyte in storage. It takes about 10 minutes, 10 minutes to start up Windows. And that's just being able to type in your password. That's not including loading up everything else. If you actually want to use the laptop functionally, you have a better chance of taking a shower, making a cup of coffee, and then making another one for someone else. While making breakfast, maybe a scrambled eggs with a side of bacon. And only then will you be able to open a Chrome tab. But only one. Just one. I've tried with 2 or 3. It really doesn't like it. Even with 8 gigabytes, which you would think that it'd be able to handle at least 2 Chrome tabs, but if I were to do 2 or more while it's loading up, it would just crash and then crash again. And then you have to restart. So I caved in. I bought a 500 gigabyte solid state drive 5 years later. Way longer than I need to. I could have just bought it maybe about 4 years ago and then upgraded it prior to it. But back then, solid state drives were still fairly expensive, so I see why I didn't do it at the time, but now it's just like a terabyte of storage, especially for a 2.5-inch drive, is nearly $90. For reference, that's about almost a third the price, I want to say. A terabyte solid state drive storage back in the day was about, honestly, 200 to 300 realistically, depending on the brand. It's kind of crazy how fast technology advances, but that's good for me because I have a fast laptop again. Now the storage on it is half the normal. This one's 500. This terabyte of storage right here, or this hard drive right here, was a terabyte of storage, but I'm not going to be doing too much on that computer. It's going to be mainly for school, and most of the storage will be on the cloud anyways, so that's not too much of a concern of mine. I have thought about doing some ASMR recording, but it would only be for the audio. I'm not sure how it would handle doing 1080p 60 fps. If I do any recordings, it would have to be at 1080p 30 fps at most. And even then, I would probably just record on my phone and then transfer over it while recording the audio anywhere. It would be at least quiet and I could do it anywhere in the house. Given that my room is next to the road outside and there are many people who like to talk very loudly and do not care about what time it is. It could be 2 a.m., it could be 11 p.m., and there will be basically a party outside. And this is why I find it really hard to record ASMR in my house. Just in this room in particular. If I go to the opposite side of the house, I would have a much easier time, but it would be kind of awkward if someone came downstairs and they saw someone whispering into a mic when they don't know what ASMR is. I haven't really explained what ASMR was to anyone else in my household, mainly because I haven't really ran into that issue yet. I've told my mom, but she's out of town and she doesn't really live here, so she's the only one that she actually tried to get me into ASMR at first. When she was telling me, do you know what ASMR is? I was telling her, you watch ASMR? But ASMR she listens to is much different than what I listen to. I like to listen to whispering, a little bit of tapping, a little bit of scratching sounds. She likes to watch mukbangs or just a lot of eating videos in general. That's something that I can't really listen to personally, but I understand that a lot of people like that kind of stuff, so everyone has their own preferences. I just prefer to have kind of more scratching kind of sounds, more tapping kind of sounds. It's kind of hard to tap with one hand, but I think you get the idea. I'm not sure how people usually do whispering videos like this with just rambling. I guess the idea is that you're supposed to be talking into a mic with no planned intentions than just talking and just going on about your day. And really, it's more been about what I've been doing today and stuff like that. Honestly, when I first started doing ASMR, like as in starting this channel kind of thing, I had one person. You could probably tell who it is if she goes in the comments. But it was more about testing out how ASMR worked and how the hell people did it. I was not expecting about 80 people to be subscribed, which, thank you so much if you have. I was never intending to have people listen to the ASMR that I do. One video in particular, thanks to YouTube's algorithm, has nearly 1,000 views, which to me that's mind-boggling considering that I was only expecting about 5 to 10 views tops per video, and the same people watching it maybe 2 to 3 at most. It's kind of crazy, really, how YouTube algorithm works when it comes to recommending people videos. But yeah, that's something that I found really interesting that I never really got a chance to talk about till now because we're doing a rambling video. Funny enough, the rambling video did very well. I was pretty shocked that people really enjoy the rambling. There's a lot of things that I like to cut out when whispering. My voice, when I try talking, doesn't very do well with the lows whispering. It sometimes tends to squeak a bit, which I usually try to edit out. Sometimes it edits out while in the middle of talking, so it's kind of hard and I leave it in, but hopefully you guys don't mind that. It's something that I noticed that other ASMRs do too when I was listening to it. That's not something that I really pick up on when doing that. It's almost like when I start hearing it and try to edit it out, I hear in other people's videos too. And it's really interesting how some people like to leave those in and some like to do maybe all of them out, try to edit everything out to just the sound, which makes sense for some people. Everyone has preferences, like I said. Speaking of preferences, some people like talking only, and some people like talking with other sounds. I forgot where I got this circular foam pad, but I think it actually came with the Blue Yeti, funny enough. There were 2 videos that I made in particular that did surprisingly well, considering that they were only about a couple minutes long. Foam mic scratching was the second most popular that I noticed when I uploaded roughly 21 videos. I think it was 21 of those short videos, which I plan on making a full-on playlist honestly, I really enjoy mic scratching, especially when it's foam on foam. When you try to do it with your fingers. It sounds a bit lighter. I'm not sure how to describe it, but the foam is a lot more sharp sounding than just your fingers. I could try doing fingertips too, just the nail. It makes a similar sound, but I really enjoy just this foam pad that came with the Blue Yeti. It really makes good sound that I enjoy. I'm not sure how long I'll be talking. I'll try to be talking for about maybe, let's try going for an hour. When I first started making videos, oh my eyes, the allergies, it's been pretty bad. If you haven't been noticing recently that I do a lot more blinking, like intentional blinking, it's because of the pollen. And it really makes my eyes start watering. It gets pretty bad sometimes, but hopefully it isn't too distracting. I try to not do it too much during recording. But anyways, one thing that I noticed that a lot of smaller ASMR channels don't do as often is make really long videos. Because the videos that I make would be something that I would want to listen to, as in, if I were to stumble onto this video, what would I want? And one of the things that I want was longer videos for sleeping. And one person in particular, when I saw the comment, I need to pull it up and look later who it was, but it was mainly for listening to a video, not for 8 hours long, but roughly 30-40 minutes, preferably 40 or more, just enough to fall asleep to. And that's something that I usually use ASMR for. I initially started listening to ASMR for sleep, not for the triggers, which that's only something I found out later on while listening to ASMR, but I used it pretty early on, about, let's see, that was sophomore, about 7-8 years ago. And something that I always found not annoying, but something that I always wanted was at least a 40-minute video. A lot of videos that I see around 20 minutes long, they're great to listen to, don't get me wrong. It's mainly that once you listen to the video, you either have to loop it indefinitely, which you can't really do on mobile. And another thing I do too is I put my phone on power saving, and once the video ends, or after an hour and a half, YouTube will tell you, hey, you should take a break. And whenever that happens, or the video ends first, one of those two, my phone on power saving, I have an iPhone by the way, will automatically turn off after 30 seconds, which is my workaround to not paying for premium on YouTube, because that's how I like to listen to ASMR. So after listening to the ad, I will have the ASMR video, watch for a few minutes, and then put it across my bed and just fall asleep. And more times than not, I'm able to pass out before the video finishes. And when that happens, my phone turns off automatically. I save on battery life. Sometimes I forget to do that, and I'll wake up to a phone that's about 40% battery when it's fully charged. Funny enough, I like to charge my phone before I go to bed, which is very counterproductive. Most people like to charge their phones when they go to bed, but I can't listen to ASMR that way. So that's something that I've been doing. And one of the things that I noticed is that I want to make videos that are roughly 40 minutes or longer. In this case, the average video I like to listen to is about at minimum 40 and at most an hour and 30. Any longer, and I feel like you're not going to be able to listen to for sleep personally. Some people use ASMR for working, for homework, just to relax, as in for background noise, but when it comes to whispering, I noticed that not many people do that. So, a good workaround is that you can loop the videos. I haven't been doing that, but some people, when they do that, it's usually for non-talking. So when you try to do talking videos, it'd be very strange if you hear the same thing looped twice. It's like watching a rerun on the same video, which someone told when I was the person I was talking to when I initially started doing ASMR. Having her listen to it, she said it was kind of the cheap whiteout, which I understand that some people like to listen to the same ASMR and don't have 10 commitments to do that, but when it comes to whispering videos, you really can't do that. And if you could probably get away with that with like mouth sounds and stuff like that, but with just talking, that's pretty hard to do. So, anyways, I've really been rambling on. It's already been about 20 minutes. I purposely chose not to see the recording, as in the time recording for this, because I want to see how long this video would be. How long this video will be determined by how long I am willing to talk at a mic for. Nothing more, nothing less. If it somehow ends up being 2 hours, I will be doing a 2-hour video, and it'll be a very long video. But knowing myself, I can get at least 30 minutes in easily. So, just having a mic and then doing some occasional mic scratching. I understand that some people don't like the scratching and stuff, but to me personally, it's more like I don't want to listen to just one thing at a time, even if it's just whispering. It's nice to have some other things in the background, especially like this cloth. Just some soft sounds. Doesn't have to be much in the background. So you have 2 things to focus on. I've never really been a visual kind of ASMR thing, so when I watch videos, I don't really get visual triggers as much. I don't really get them as often, which is why I mainly use it for sleep. There's only been a couple times where it's happened, and it hasn't happened since. Last time was about 4 years ago, I'd want to say. Most of the ASMR that I get is usually auditorial. It's almost like you have to imagine it happening, and not seeing it somehow makes it better, trigger-wise. I'm not sure how, but that's just something that I've noticed with myself when listening over the years. I'll be doing cuts on the video, but I take into account how long the cuts are, and even then it's about, I want to say, 24 minutes now. I haven't really kept track of time, and I think that's going to be a good thing for just rambling. I should probably try doing these more often. If you managed to make it this far, just let me know if you like rambling videos of just talking left and right. The main reason why I took out the mic and started talking left and right while holding it is because when I lean forward and lean back, my chair tends to make a lot of squeaking sounds. I make a good effort to remove those sounds when editing, but sometimes if I lean a little bit too much, you'll really hear the sounds, and it's not a good sound either. It's not a sound that I would keep in as a trigger. It's almost kind of annoying. It is annoying to listen to personally. I can keep a video. I thought about doing an ASMR video at one point for like an April Fool's video, which will be in quite some time, but it'd be videos where I have sounds that would sound satisfying, but really aren't. And I would have to put in not ASMR kind of thing. But I feel like doing that would be not really on my timeline at the moment, but that would be a fun idea. It's kind of like a shower thought. But I guess the idea of rambling, now that I think about it, is pretty much a shower thought, just expressing everything that's in your mind right now. Some topics that I would talk about now, I would be rambling about, but just for the sake of like privacy and other things, I try to not. Which, I mean, I've been looking at the demographic for who watches these videos, and even though if it's a small size pool, about roughly 2,000 viewers, or just 2,000 views, about 50% are of the age of 18 to 24, which is kind of what I expect with people listening to ASMR. There hasn't been anyone, there was actually one percentage, it was about 2% who are in their 40s or 50s. So if you're watching this video, let me know how I'm doing. I'm really interested in seeing like the demographic of who watches my ASMR videos, because everyone isn't obviously telling what their actual age is. Some people may be lying, but I know for a fact that 0% people that are under the age of 17, that's the odds of that are pretty low. But YouTube analytics might be wrong, but that's just something I always want to consider when I was looking at the stats. Seeing what stats, it was about 85% people watching the videos weren't subscribed, which makes sense given that I just started out and one of the videos kind of just blew up, which 1,000 views might not sound like much, but considering that I just started with zero experience with recording. When I first got the Blue Yeti, that was the first time I've bought an actual mic. Every other mic I've used were earbud mics, which I thought about doing ASMR with, but not at the moment, and headset mics. So, me messing with audio is something that I'm fairly new to. Still am. Same with editing videos. I bought, what was it? I need to check. Vegas Pro a while back, and I'll be the first to admit that I was using a pirated version until recently. I actually bought it because I was having crashing issues. The person that's listening right now, you know who you are. I did end up buying a uncracked version, so I am using it legitimately now. So that's the first thing I'd like to apologize to Vegas, whichever company owns that. We bought an official product at least now. So you got one customer that approves of your product. But yeah, one of the things that I always struggled doing was video editing, which I had zero prior knowledge of. I knew how to crop a video and how to speed up a video. That was the furthest of my extent of video editing. I never really messed with audio sounds and stuff. I'm still doing the very basics on that. Same with the intros and outros and all that. The transitions are kind of just eyeballed, kind of just give or take. I think it's pretty obvious when watching compared to our videos, but that's just something that I've been doing myself when it comes to editing videos. Because I don't really edit videos often, I haven't really noticed that many issues when it comes to my own videos in terms of like major flaws, as in, oh, there's this the video that you're watching right now just suddenly turns black. There hasn't been anything like that I've been doing that is really like big red flag. Same with like using the wrong audio, or it's extremely off sync, whereas I could snap my fingers and it'll be about 5 second delay. That's something that I haven't seen, but in terms of like some minor things that can be improved, there's a lot that I haven't noticed that I feel like I could improve on, so hopefully over time I learn how to do that. Same with how to do ASMR in general. I initially thought about doing ASMR without doing a camera setup, but I got talked into doing the talking and the mic with the camera, so it's been kind of awkward for the first few recordings. But recording with on Twitch, I've always had like face cams and stuff set up for that, so getting used to being on the camera and having it shown to various amounts of people isn't something like that I feel awkward about. If anything, it took more time whispering into a mic, which I bet most people found awkward, especially when you know that anyone on the internet can watch it. And something that I've noticed with ASMR communities, I never really read comments. I won't listen to ASMR videos, but every comment I've gotten has, besides the spam bots that tend to just like get deleted after a few seconds, it's really been like positive comments, which honestly that's what keeps me going when it comes to recording these days. I thought about doing recordings maybe about once or twice a week, but once I realized that people were really into, I'm not sure how into, I'll be optimistic, but given that people are really enjoying the videos and leaving nice comments, honestly, it's kind of encouraged me to start recording more often. Try to do at least once a week if I can, 2 or 3 times a week. 3 times is pretty unrealistic, given that I have other things planned up too, and that's pretty hard to schedule days to record, especially when it's hard to figure out a day too, when it's, one day I want to record, but there's a lot of people partying outside, or days that I want to record, but I have a sore throat. So, given besides all that, it's been really fun to record videos. Even like listening to my own voice, I'm starting to get used to. Like, a lot of people don't like hearing their own voice when it comes to recording onto a mic, and then they hear it back. I think it's natural for a lot of people to not really enjoy hearing their own voice in terms that way. Myself included, but I've started getting used to it. It's more of a, I can tolerate it, whereas then, oh, I actually like it. That's something that I think anyone who edits videos, they deserve more credit for that. That alone is fairly difficult, at least from my own experience. So, when it comes to also editing other videos too, I've noticed that the quality of the audio that I've been using too wasn't always the best, the compression that I would use for exporting the videos, and the audio weren't always the best that I noticed. I looked into it, and I'm not sure if YouTube will just compressing the audio and video to a point where those minute changes won't make much of a difference, but I started doing that recently. I actually don't listen to, watch back the videos prior to recording. I listen to it while editing, but when I upload an ASMR video, I don't listen to it on YouTube. If anything, I'll watch the raw file that I exported from Vegas Pro, which I noticed there was one time where I uploaded the wrong video, and this was when I had maybe 3 people subscribed, and that's when YouTube wasn't really recommending videos. So when I uploaded it, the person that usually just runs down the videos for me was kind of like a test dummy when it comes to recording ASMR and stuff. She was mentioning, did you remember to edit the video? Because I heard a lot of clapping, a lot of noise cues, which is something that I actually learned when watching fail compilations that people tend to make audio cues such as clapping and stuff to understand that they want to edit it out. I think that's basic recording stuff that people like to do, but that's something that I've never really noticed, or something you would notice when just listening to ASMR directly. So I found that really interesting, and that's the one thing that I learned that I knew prior to recording ASMR that has helped immensely while doing these videos. I think the recording, I shouldn't be looking at the recording time, but yeah, I think it's about 35 minutes. I might be really off, but I probably am actually. But by now I would stop, but I want to keep on going because this is actually pretty fun, just whispering to a mic. I haven't really been messing around with the other sounds and the other items that I promised to do, so I'll start doing that now. I think that the idea of rambling into a mic is, I noticed that a lot of people like those kind of videos, but it's also anything can happen while doing these recordings. It could go off from, okay, I was supposed to talk about what happened this week or today, and it turns into literally everything but that. And I think that's almost kind of the beauty of doing rambling videos, is that the topic can be anything, and you can learn a lot about someone with one rambling video. Now, whether they're being genuine or not is a different question. Of course, I know that a lot of people that do rambling videos and stuff, they might have an idea of what they want to talk about, but I don't know how they do the videos or what they want at the end of it, or is if they're actually talking, they have a set plan where I want to talk about this, that, and that, or it's just anything goes. And as long as it won't get you DMCA claimed or YouTube copyright striked, it's fair game to talk about whatever. And I find those pretty fun to do. After doing the first one, it was really fun just talking about how my day was, which today was pretty underwhelming, of course. I was, like I said, doing homework, and I got a few messages from friends. I was checking up on someone today in particular. I think she was doing fine, but nothing too serious. Sorry, I got distracted. I forgot what I was trying to talk about, but that's the beauty of editing. So, one of the things that I noticed today when I had some free time after doing homework was that I have a group of friends that like to do party games. And a few of the party games in particular is usually we do it's called Bubble Party. It's a more mature version, a crude version of Mario Party, if you may call it that. The main advantage is that you can play up to 8 players, and you're able to play on Steam. So if you have a computer, you're able to play it. Whereas if you want to play Mario Party, you either have to have the console or emulate it, but you also have to play it locally. And trying to set it up online, I've done it personally, but the delay and the setup is honestly not worth it. Trying to play it, especially if you're only going to do it once. So one of the things that I started doing was playing Bubble Party, but one game in particular we've been doing after the Among Us stuff started dying down is we started playing a lot of golf with your friends, and I've noticed that every party game in particular just has some way of ruining friendship, whether it be from BS luck or just random stuff happening. But at the end of the day, it's just a game, and we all know that it's all fun and nothing serious. So even with all the bantering and all the shenanigans going on, it's just a really fun time. So I've been doing that for a couple hours prior to recording, and then I realized that, oh, it's 9 o'clock and it's actually quiet for once. But there's people outside still shooting fireworks. It's almost August, and people are still shooting fireworks. I'm honestly not sure if they're even fireworks at this point, but I'm just gonna say they're fireworks because ignorance is bliss. So that's been really hard to record ever since 4th of July, but I've been managing to get it in, which is part of the reason why I started doing those 1-minute videos, where I'm able to record a minute video, and if something were to happen, like there's some loud noise outside, I can just restart and record again. That's the part that you don't really see that happen often, and it's pretty fun, honestly, just to record a few minutes of ASMR and then cut over to it and just listen to another trigger, which it might be kind of weird if you were changing shirts and stuff and the scenery was changing around you every minute, but just since I listen to ASMR auditorily without much visuals, I kind of enjoy that. I know that a lot of people actually listen to ASMR when it comes to having a lot of visuals with it too, but I know I'm in the minority for that. A lot of people need to be able to see what the object is and transfer while watching that I'm listening to a cloth being caressed. I'm not sure there's a better word to say that, but massage, I guess grumbling would be one of the words I could say, and it would be wrong. Just hearing that. Same with this bag. And then especially one thing in particular is just seeing the scratching with that. Something that I never got a chance to do either was doing light hand sounds while recording, because my mic never picked it up with the way I recorded, which is pretty unfortunate, but now that I have new settings, it seems to pick it up somewhat. I kinda have to do it pretty aggressively, but otherwise it works out pretty well. Honestly, I never tested if it picks it up, but I want to do another hand sounds where I do more quiet sounds than the more aggressive sounding stuff, if that makes sense. Most of the ASMR that I do is, I think, on the more harsher side than the soft stuff, because someone that likes to test out is like the dummy for my ASMR. She prefers harder sounding stuff versus the lighter stuff, and I like a mix of both, but it's mainly just harder sounding stuff, which I've noticed. Let me know if you like the harder, more aggressive, or the soft, lighter kind of ASMR. Some people really like it aggressive when it comes to ASMR, where you can bring a chainsaw onto a blue yeti, and that wouldn't be aggressive enough. That's over exaggerating. But that's kind of the extreme ends you can be. Rubbing with a feather to using an electric toothbrush onto the mic kind of thing. Just two different contrasts to sounds and the aggressiveness to it. Another thing too I noticed when making ASMR is that some people, when it says on the title that you have ASMR, let's say this title will be called Whispering Video with Occasional Sounds, and I would list maybe that I was using mic scratching, which it would not be wrong, and some cloth rubbing sounds, and that wouldn't be wrong either. And some of the things that one of the comments I saw in particular that stood out was that one of the videos was saying that it was all crinkle sounds, and there was no actual tapping with the crinkles. It was mainly just focused on crinkling. I was actually gonna do some tapping in there, but I just opted for let's just do crinkles only, no tapping. And that kind of made me realize that some people enjoy the non-tapping side of ASMR with the also maybe the crinkle stuff too. So sometimes some people just detest crinkle sounds, and then you have this nice little wrapped package, and instead of hard tapping on it, where you're tapping really hard on it, you first start to caress it and then start like crinkling on it, and people maybe don't like that. So I've been making an active effort ever since to, when I have an idea of what ASMR I want to do, if I want to do one without tapping, I try to do minimal tapping in it. If it's a video with no talking, I don't talk at all. Obviously those ones are a bit easier to do, but some people just, myself included, just instinctively start tapping on the box now. When you're doing like a scratching sound video, you're not tapping while scratching unless it's like specified into it. That's just something that I started doing recently. I haven't really recorded many videos since, but I've just been keeping that in mind ever since I saw that comment, so it's been helpful, to say the least. And I'm actually looking at not the time, but just how the audio is picking up, and it looks like if I talk far away from the mic, it also picks up the noise outside too, actually, but for the most part, it picks up everything here. And I can turn it left and right, left, and then right over there. This is actually, I didn't even make sure that this is actually the left. So you're hearing the left right now. And then this is the right now. It'll be reversed. I reverse it in editing too, but while recording, this sounds like my right, and this sounds like my left. No, the other way around. I'm confusing myself. It's pretty late. This sounds like my right, which will sound like your left post recording and post editing. And this will sound like this sounds like my left, but it'll be your right. basically, this is the left side, this is the right side, which when you're watching will make more sense visually, but just when editing, it's kind of confusing at first where I here's the left side, and I'm clearly talking on the right side for me, but in the video, it's gonna be on the left. Hopefully I remember to do that. I remember that pretty fast, actually. And I think I've been talking for about, I don't even know, man, maybe 50 minutes tops. I'd be shocked if I was talking any longer than that. And I have about another 45 minutes of me to start whispering and talking, so I actually installed an M.2 into my computer a few weeks ago, so I was able to record more ASMR and the videos too without worrying about much issues with storage. Prior to recording, I had about a 300 gigabytes left of storage, and that was after cleaning out all the stuff. You know, maybe we don't do scratching with the mic. Maybe we just fiddle with. Yeah, we'll just fiddle with this for now while talking. Some of the things that I've noticed, and there's like what I have on my computer and stuff, I have a lot of videos, and if I don't delete them fast, it just eats up storage. So each video, when it's about roughly 30-40 minutes, it's about 5 gigabytes or less. The audio is about maybe 100 megabytes, and then when you upload it and finish it up, it's about 5 gigabytes as well. So by the time I'm done recording, I have used up 12 gigabytes. And normally that's not an issue with 1 or 2 videos that I do on occasion, seldomly. But when recording ASMR videos 3 or 4 times every 2 weeks, it starts to add up pretty fast. So after installing that, I haven't had much of an issue with that, and it's been really nice to just record and then almost archive the videos I have at the moment, which I can then reuse later if I need to, which I don't see myself doing now, but better safe than sorry. I still have this hard drive out, and I really don't have much of a use for it anymore. I should probably export all the information on here, if anything, actually, so I'll leave that there for now. But I didn't really bring many things at my desk for this. I just wanted to talk on the mic, really, and see how people just enjoy talking. I'll understand pretty fast if people enjoy talking or not, but whether 100,000 people watched this video or just one, at least I had fun talking to a mic to myself almost, and just having someone else listen to, whether it be 1 or 100,000. The numbers really don't matter, honestly. It's kind of nice to see, but just for a hobby, it's just interesting to see that there are people out there that are willing to listen to ASMR channels that have little to no viewers and subscribers too. So if you're watching right now, thank you. Like I said, it keeps me going with recording more videos. There hasn't really been many like negative things, even with like criticism too, which I'm all for criticism if it means fixing the ASMR that I do, or just improving everything in general. That's almost like a win-win with criticism that I would like to have, honestly. If it's just like banter and stuff, sure, I'll take it. But if it helps out with like, maybe I should not talk so close to the mic, or I should talk farther away from it, for example. Maybe I should just stick to one side and talk to it for a while instead of just rotating left and right and just constantly going to a well, yetis aren't binaural, so just left and right. and just going into like a 180-degree circle. Maybe that's not the move instead, but just stick to one side. And some people like, a lot more people like that better, then I'll do that instead. But right now it's just really been lots of chair sounds. I edited that out. And if I didn't edit that out, I am so sorry. I'm not sure. Someone will have to let me know if I actually miss a chair crack or something. You'll know if I missed it, if it sounds louder than my whispering, because it pops up on the audio lines. I'm not sure what they're called, audio waves when editing. It's pretty easy to tell, but some of them don't actually show up, especially during when I'm talking. It's kind of hard to edit them out, but I'm able to suppress those noises at least. Sometimes I wonder if, despite being like not true binaural, but it's more like a stereo mic, if I start talking from the back end instead, does it sound different versus when I talk from the front? Obviously, it's going to sound louder when I talk in the front versus the back, but I'm not sure how much of a difference that makes, considering that it's either a left or a right in terms of audio. But it's just something that I thought about getting to. I honestly thought about getting a binaural mic, like a true binaural one, or setting up another Blue Yeti and having dual audio at some point. That's something that I want to get done at some point, but I don't have the funds for that, and I don't expect myself to be able to do that anytime soon. And I've noticed that like some people, when they do ASMR, they actually start off with doing it on their phone, which I found interesting. But lo-fi ASMR is pretty popular, I've noticed. It's just something that I haven't really watched personally, but I see like a lot of people that really enjoy that kind of thing, where it's just mono audio and just random tapping sounds with no improvisation, or just all improvised. Just grab whatever's at your desk, which I kind of do that. Which it's kind of fun, honestly, just figure out what the hell to do in 5-10 minutes. Don't have anything planned. That's kind of how I've been enjoying doing these ASMR videos, and then editing them out too. Honestly, at this point, I'm just rambling on how I edit videos, which someone probably enjoys, and a lot of people maybe not, and some people maybe do. It's just, it's kind of just, I'm still at shock sometimes when I see people listening to the ASMR videos and then just seeing that people actually listen to them, which I just find shocking. Because, like I said, I only expected about maybe 5 view stops, and just thinking about that, it helps people sleep, and it helps people relax stuff. It's kind of like the main intention for ASMR. Not like the ASMR that you see on Twitch, for example, where it's just people eating like mics and stuff, which I understand that people like that, but that's not the type of ASMR that I would be personally into. But it's almost like it kind of gives a bad rep with ASMR, which is why anyone watching on Twitch, all my friends that watch Twitch first that don't know much about ASMR, when I tell them, hey, I do ASMR, the first thing they think of is I'm eating a mic in front of people for $5 for every like 10 seconds for every donation or sub. And that's not what I'm doing at all. Maybe I talked close to a mic, but I'm definitely not trying to eat it. I've never really been a fan of like eating ASMR in general. The closest thing I thought about doing with ASMR eating was maybe pop rocks while talking, which that's a really nice trigger for me personally, just pop rocks and then talking. It's a strange sound that works so well for me. I don't have any pop rocks, so I wouldn't be doing that, but even then, I don't really like doing eating ASMR. That's just not something that I can see myself doing. it's almost like the way, like, it might be like just me personally, just see myself eat, because then you have to like be self-conscious about how you eat and stuff, and you gotta eat like nicely and stuff and all that. I definitely do like a cooking ASMR video, but I wouldn't be just that main intention would not be eating at the end of it, it'd just be mainly for the cooking. And a lot of the ASMR that like my mom wants to watch. In fact, somehow my mom found my ASMR channel. I don't know how. I don't do any of the ASMR that she does, or she likes to listen to. She doesn't do ASMR. And when she told me about it, it's like, I was really confused. But at the same time, the odds of that happening are close to none. She never went into detail, she just told me about it. And I haven't asked since. I've just been making the videos. I'm pretty sure she doesn't actually watch them, but in the off chance you are, hi mom. Otherwise, it's been, yeah, just been doing ASMR for fun. It's like with any hobby, if your main intention is to make money, you're gonna hate what you're doing. But a lot of hobbies can turn to jobs and stuff, so that's what, like, at least that's what the majority of people end up doing. It's just they start as a hobby and then it goes bigger into it. I don't see the ASMR I do get to the extreme ends, kind of like millions of subs. I could be wrong. For all I know, just when I see myself when I see myself just doing ASMR, it's just as long as I'm having fun and the stuff I do isn't just for, oh, I want to do this for views, or I want to do this just because I think it'll get millions of views, even though I wouldn't enjoy doing it. It's just like the fun, like the enjoyment comes first, and then maybe on the side, if it happens to do that, then that's a win-win then. But I'm having fun doing these, and if people enjoy them, they enjoy them, and if they don't enjoy them, they want to watch. And if they do watch it, then it helps the algorithm. It's, yeah. Anyways, with today in particular, usually I will be playing on stream, but today is Thursday, so I didn't do any streaming. So after doing homework, I spent a bit of time playing a game usually called Osu, which is a rhythm-based game, which you can argue that whether it's rhythm or not now, or just hardcore button mashing or aiming, that's for you to decide. But at its core, it's playing a rhythm game with clicking notes and stuff. And one of the things that you do on there for some reason is that you're able to make spinning circles. And the more you spin, the more points you get. So sometimes you just get really bored and want to do that for 2 hours and try to get high scores on them because there's leaderboards. And those leaderboards can end up determining on how fast you can spin. And believe it or not, people do that for fun. And I'm one of them. And, you know, it's saying that out loud sounds really funny that someone would actually do that. But it's a weird thing because I think about it, I do it, and I wonder, people out there just like to spin for hours and they get a leaderboard placement out of it. And then you also have people at the same time who play cookie clickers or venture capitalists, those kind of idle games. And to me, when I think about it, it's almost like that kind of mindset. It's like the slight dopamine effect that you get when playing video games, which, as long as you're having fun, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's a lot of things with hobbies and stuff. Not really what people think about, so just something I always consider when playing that game. I think someone outside is doing something, I'm not sure what. it's not fireworks at least, so I'm able to record. But yeah, I think it's been an hour. I actually want to check. Let me check how long I've been recording for. So the video might not actually be this long. It's actually not going to be this long at all. But I've been recording for an hour and 15 minutes, which is a lot longer than I thought. I actually thought it was about barely an hour in. But I proved myself wrong. Honestly, that's not too bad, considering that I've just been rambling on, just talking to a mic. I might edit out some of the stuff with actually, no, I won't. I'll just keep that in and just put it as a title. With my thought process being that I was talking some important stuff while doing the other various sounds, but for the most part, it's just whispering and talking and rambling because why not? And so I guess I can go on for a few more minutes just finishing up what I'm doing. So prior, one of the things that I want to do at some point is get better at the canceling out the background noise because of my fan and computer, and just because of random various noises outside. But I noticed that some people actually enjoy that, myself included. So that's something that I kind of have like a predicament where over editing your audio can be worse than keeping all the audio in. Obviously, you don't want to just like leave everything in. But when it comes to just like background noise, some people like a little bit of background noise, some people like no background noise. You can't really have both when it comes to that case. And it'd be really weird to have no background audio for one of them, and then just a lot of just background noises for next part. That'd just be kind of awkward. I guess if we're doing like a comparison ASMR video, that would be nice, but I need to be able to actually edit out the background noise more effectively, because when I edit out the background noise, it just ends up being a little bit quiet. It turns my whispering super quiet. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it, but it almost sounds like I'm talking from this far away, and I'm pretty sure you won't be able to hear anything. If you can't hear anything, I'll just cut this part out. But yeah, I need to figure that out still. It's been a few months. I've looked at some tutorials and stuff, and for the most part, I've gotten it to work fairly well for non-talking ASMR videos, but for talking ASMR videos, it's pretty hard to do. It's almost like I have to talk at a certain angle all the time, but I just don't have the editing skills for that yet, but you can always improve. Wow, I'm impressed that I managed to talk for an hour and 18 minutes. I honestly thought I would tap out about after 40 minutes, but I guess it's gonna be a long video today. I forgot what I was rambling about. It's late, but hopefully you enjoyed the video. Enjoyed the left to right and the right. No, this is gonna be your left actually. Your left to right and your right to left. These videos are kind of fun to do, so I could do these on like a monthly or weekly, even a semi-bi-weekly basis, depending on how people like these, and just do like a rambling, not a podcast kind of thing, but just rambling on about random stuff, because my only judgment is that people either like hand sounds, or they like rambling, or they like both combined. And I am doing this video mainly to figure out if people just like the hand sounds or just the rambling, or if combining both of them is a good idea, which I think most people like the hand sounds, but I'll do that next time, just doing various more hand sounds at a later date. But I decided to do a rambling video first because that sounded the most fun, and I just like doing what sounds fun at the moment. Like, I was supposed to do a keyboard ASMR, but my video got corrupted, and that was about 50 minutes worth of content that I don't want to redo. So whenever I get the motivation to do that again, I'll be doing that too. Same with making a Osu video with ASMR. I have an idea for it, and it's been in the works. But it's going to be very tedious to set up, and hopefully I'm able to do it. It'd be a shorter video just on the side for fun. I don't expect it to do very well in terms of like actual ASMR like content, but it'd be like a nice little thing on the side just to listen to for fun. I wouldn't expect it to be like a serious ASMR video you can listen to and fall asleep to, but it'd just be like, yeah, I'm not sure, it'd just be just for fun. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the rambling. I rambled on for so long that I don't even know what I'm rambling on about anymore. I just started talking, and for the most part, just rambling on away. Let me know how the audio sounds with these new settings. I think the noise compression is on the lighter side this time by default, and the talking or the volume of my whispering is louder. It's louder, but I think that's because the mic is overall more sensitive at the moment. I didn't get enough time to test it, but those are just the two things that I saw while editing today, just looking at the videos. And then comparing that with the recording I have right now. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.